America is the valley of the shadow of death. Giving all praise to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakwadash. And this is a video. This is RT America. And the title of the video is numbers say U.S. has world's highest murder rate and nobody seems to care. And this was put up yesterday, which was Wednesday. So you can go to RT America and look it up. Anyway, the host of the show is Rick Sanchez. He was a newscaster at CNN, and he made a what they said was a negative comment concerning this guy from the Daily Show. I forget his name. That they both had different upbringings, and I don't know if he said Jew, but you know what? If you say anything negative against those people, they will punish you for it. And this man disappeared for a while, and he popped up a couple of years back on RT. Anyway, I want to let you listen. I'm going to let you listen to what he has to say, and I'm going to give you a couple of precepts.
From our viewers from all over the world, especially those of you who are watching us on the portable TV app. So, every once in a while, we get a shot of reality about the dangers of living in the United States in a report like this one that I am about to show you. You can see it here on the screen. It says, essentially, the most deadly weekend in Chicago. This is a front-page story in the Chicago Sun-Times, but it's been picked up by periodicals around the country and news networks as well. 104 people shot. 19 of them are dead, killed, says right there. This is an attention grabber for sure. But what happens when you give a story like this, which does sound alarming, right? But let's get a context. Let's get a context. Let's do that. Let's start with the murder rate in America, which, by the way, is not a pretty picture. The murder rate. There is no country in the world that even comes close. Here are the top 10.
Did you hear that? There's no country in the world that even comes close. There's a reason for that. Because this is Babylon the Great that the Most High is getting ready to destroy. Now, he started the show with Chicago stats of people. Was it 104 people got shot, 19 got killed, 13 youngsters were wounded. That's a war zone. That's an actual war zone. And guess who's doing all the shooting? Oh, the white man, Esau. He's a devil. Nope. And the black devils are doing that, which is Jake. That's why we hate the 2/3. That's why the Most High is only saving the elect this time. Now, when we were in ancient Egypt, Mizraim, he delivered all of Israel out of so-called Egypt, and guess what? They went off. And the only two that made it from Egypt to the other side, going into the Promised Land, well, Moses didn't even make it. And the Most High showed him the Promised Land. He said, "But you ain't gonna make it." Moses, the friend of the Most High. The only two that made it from Egypt to the land of Canaan, the Promised Land, was Joshua and Caleb. So the Most High, this time, he's only dealing with the elect. He's only saving the elect, and he's changing them. He ain't bringing a bunch of nigglets on the ships. Ain't no grimy ass niggas gonna be beamed up on the ship. And these are wild animals, man. Let's listen to a little bit more.
10 most dangerous cities in the United States of America. You're going to see on this list places like St. Louis, Missouri, with...
Who lives in St. Louis, Missouri? Jake. Jake is killing themselves left and right. They're, like I said, they're like wild animals.
It's 69 per 100,000 people. That's the way they measure the murder rate, per 100,000. That way you can't just say, well, of course they have a high population, they're going to have a higher murder rate. No, this is done by 100,000. It's followed by Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, another fine city in America, full of the Negroes. They are the problem. They're more of a problem than Esau, man. Now Esau is going to pay for mostly what he did in the past. Esau is trying to restore the goods to Jake. Not really. But Esau is going through a guilt phase in his life right now.
51, New Orleans. 41.
New Orleans. Or we say New Orleans. Jake.
Then comes, Detroit.
Detroit. That fine bastion of America for white people. No, those are Jake. These are wild-ass, monkey-minded, demonic, Satan-filled Jakes.
At, 3940, Cleveland.
Cleveland. That's another Jake city.
It's Vegas.
Vegas. Jake's. You got Issachar. You got Jake.
It's a city. Memphis.
Memphis. Jake. Esau is right. Sometimes Esau is right. Esau said the Negro is the problem. The tribes are the problem. Yeah, you are the problem. But Esau, you created the problem. Ultimately, the Most High created the whole problem. But the Most High is not going to deliver these Jakes in the hood. And then you Israelites, you go right up in the hood around these gun-toting niggas.
Newark, and finally number 2.
Oh, Newark. I know Newark. I've been through Newark many a times. And that place is gone. I did a drop off at Liberty International Airport in Newark, New Jersey, and I went to get some gas, and I went into this hood where it looked, the Jakes, all of them looked like zombies. They were walking around like zombies. And one day we'll go out there, we get some brothers, if they ever come out of town or from out of town, brothers, we might take a trip over there, and it looks, I mean, you can film the zombie movie, the different zombie movies. You don't even have to tell them to act. Just, yo, that place, and a lot of murders, a lot of robbery, a lot of assaults go on in Newark. I know, I've been through Newark many a times. When I used to do deliveries, I worked for this one company called Mobile, and if they had any deliveries late at night in Newark, they wouldn't send no Edomite, they would send me or some other Jake. And see, something about Jake, they see Jake and they ain't gonna mess with him. If they see an Edomite, they'll fuck with him too. But Jake kills each other left and right. And at one time, Newark was the capital of murder capital. Now, it's always been Chicago. So this is the valley of the shadow of death. This is Babylon the Great. This place will have to be destroyed.
And Chicago. Chicago rounds out the top 10, as you can see right there, with 24 is the murder rate for Chicago. Now, let's look at the most dangerous cities in the world. And you're going to notice right away that they're all in one part of the world. Not this part of the world, but this.
Did you see that? Not this part of the world. Although you got, let me bring that back.
The most dangerous cities in the world. And you're going to notice right away that they're all in one part of the world, not this part.
Not this part of the world. What's on that part of the world? You got Africa, you got Europe, you got the Middle East. Where his right hand is right above, well, his hand is actually touching the land of Israel. It says world's most dangerous, and world's most dangerous, excuse me, is in the west. On the left hand side of the screen, Baltimore, St. Louis, New Orleans, San Juan, Puerto Rico. This right here proves it did Jake. That's another major crime hub. Mexico, Los Cabos, San Salvador, El Salvador, Brazil. You see Brazil. All of these names that's mentioned here, they're all Jakes. And the biggest criminals on the planet, as far as robbery, death, killings, murders by gun, by knife, is where Jake is at. That's where Jake is at, man.
Part of the world, but this part of the world. Murder rates in the Americas, mostly, by the way, Mexico and Brazil. And let me put
the Mexicans, the Israelites, man, them drug cartels and murders, and man, they kill. If they don't like a particular judge, they kill the judge. And when they lock them up in the prison, they take control. They control the prison. Brazil, major murder rate down there in Brazil. Hell, they beat out Chicago. Them Latin tribes are hella dangerous.
Point out for you, using the same calculation, what the highest murder rates are. Places like, for example, Los Cabos, Mexico, and Caracas, Venezuela, number 1 and 2. Actually,
both places are filled with Israelites. Those are the 10 tribes. The Northern Kingdom, which came over here pursuant to 2 Kings 17 to find a better life, to keep the laws of the Most High. Oh, they ain't keeping the laws. They're killing each other. They're breaking one of the major law in the commandments. Thou shalt not murder.
Actually, they're tied. They both have, 111, as well as Caracas, 111. There's a ton of cities in both Mexico and Brazil, but let's move to Natal, Brazil. And then not too far after that comes St. Louis, Missouri, right? With 66.
Jake, mostly Judah, some Gad.
San Salvador in El Salvador with 59.
Jake, Israelites.
Then comes Baltimore, Maryland, 56.
Number Jake, mostly Judah.
San Juan.
And you got to check out the slums of these various places in America where Jake is. So we're not blessed, we're cursed.
On Puerto Rico, who knew?
The tribe of Ephraim.
Right? By the way, part of the United States. And then New Orleans with 40. This is the most dangerous cities in the world. If you notice something, that cities in Europe don't even play into the most dangerous. So we wondered then, well, what's the murder rate in Europe? And here's what we found. That compared to North, South, and Central America, it's really almost insignificant. Look at these numbers.
That's a spirit. Anyway, let me go into the precepts. A few precepts. Let me try to read through these fast. Okay, this is Psalms 23, verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Because David and the other kings of Israel are here in America. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, which is America, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff do comfort me. Next precept. Job 10 verse 20 to 22. It says, are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little. And he's talking about death, but there's a double meaning there. The place he's going to go is to the grave, but the place he's really going to go to is America, Babylon the Great, the valley of the shadow of death. 21st verse. Before I go hence, I shall not return, even the land of darkness and the shadow of death. Did not King David say speak about the valley of the shadow of death, where death is right behind you? So you're always looking, you're always looking behind you. A land, so it's an actual land, as darkness itself, because it lacks the truth, and of the shadow of death without any order. Without any order. That's why it's called Babylon the Great. And where the light is as darkness. Next precept. Basically, all you got to do is read Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, and that's clearly the valley of the shadow of death, or the great valley of bones, is America. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.